Good afternoon. Welcome back. It is Tuesday, July 25th, 2023. We have a few birthdays and a few events, so we're going to dive right into this. Going all the way back to 1981 at Michigan International Speedway, Pancho Carter wins the first kart-sanctioned Michigan 500. Prior to this, they had run 150-mile and 250-mile races at the famed 2-mile oval. This was the inaugural of many 500-mile races at that speedway. 1992, Ernie Irvan wins the inaugural Busch Series race at Talladega Superspeedway, beating, some of the powerhouse Busch drivers at that time and powerhouse Cup guys at that time like Dale Earnhardt. Speaking of Dale Earnhardt, the very next year on this same date, 1993, Dale wins at Talladega. Several events happen in this. It is the first race of the return of the Robert Yates Racing number 28 after the death of Davey Allison. Robbie Gordon drove that car. Neil Bonnet made his return to competition driving a second Richard Childress car. He would crash out about midway in the race and then would return to the CBS booth. Jimmy Horton flew over the wall in turn 1 in a multi-car crash that also involved Stan Smith, who survived a basilar skull fracture, and Dale Earnhardt beat Ernie Irvan at the time in the closest finish in NASCAR Cup Series history. But this was also the first event, I believe, that they used the scoring system that they use now, the electronic scoring and timing. So there's a lot of events in that one race. And then in 2010, I was at this event. Jamie McMurray won the Brickyard 400 for his second of 3 wins of 2010. Of course, Jamie still missed he's made the playoffs, but this was still kind of that chase era, and he still missed that chase/playoff. And I think he only made it one time and ended up finishing 15th, 16th in points. So, again, Jamie had a pretty strong car that year, winning Daytona, Indy, and the Fall Charlotte race. But just bad luck kept them from making that chase at that season. Birthdays for today, and we got a lot of them. A couple of them that I don't believe there's cards of. Born on this date in 1956, Joey Arrington, son of Buddy Arrington. Joey made a few Cup starts, but was more or less the crew chief and mechanic on his dad's team. He has some interviews on YouTube, pretty good stuff there. Stuart Friesen, born on this day in 1983. He may have some cards out there, but I didn't find any. A couple that I know that have cards, but I could not find any after looking for about 40 minutes. I had to give up. Born on this day in 1985, Nelson Piquet Jr. Of course, he does have a truck win and an Xfinity Series win, and I believe he also has an F1 win, but he's also involved in that crazy race in 2009 in F1. I want to say it was Malaysia or Singapore, where he intentionally brought out a caution so his teammate Fernando Alonso could benefit from the safety car and win the race. That caused a lot of people to get banned from F1. Born on this date in 1961, former Journeyman Cup driver Jerry Hill. That name sounds familiar. He is the father of Timmy Hill and Tyler Hill. So let's go to a couple of them that we do have cards today. Born on this day, 1938, you know him as the Hat Man, Mr. Bill Brodrick. Of course, he worked for Unocal 76 in their division that went around to the victory lanes, did a lot of the hats, did the hat dance with the crews, and he's had some really good interviews on some podcasts. I recommend you go back and listen to it. I believe he owns a bar in Illinois now, and he does do TTM. He was one of my first TTMs. And our second and final birthday that we have cards for today, born on this date in 1947, championship crew chief, brother of a Hall of Famer, I'm sure this guy eventually will get into, Mr. Ernie Elliott. So there you have him with the Coors Melling, Coors Light in 1991, 92, and then in 93. I can't remember if he was still with the 9 team with the variety of drivers that they had, but he was always known for him and Dan built the cars that Bill drove for many years, produced a lot of horsepower. I've read in various books that the car that Bill won so many races in 1985 was kind of a scaled-down version. It fit the templates, but you have to remember back in 1985, they only had really one template that went over the body of the car. They didn't have later on what would be all the fender templates and windows and side templates, and now it's the laser and the room of doom and all that. They just had one template, and as long as you fit that, you were good. And pretty much they made it kind of scaled down in different areas and was able to take advantage of some aerodynamics that a lot of people hadn't caught on to with yet. But after that, after the 85 season, General Motors redesigned their cars. And then Elliott's were less competitive in 86. But, Ernie had a pretty good career. He built motors for the Dodge program for quite a while. And, I'm not sure what he's doing now. But I think he's kind of an underrated crew chief that should be considered for the Hall of Fame. Don't know what you guys think. Again, you guys know that I'm not an Elliott family fan, but his accolades speak for themselves, and he's only got, 7 less wins than as a crew chief than Bill does as a driver, something like that, because I'm counting. See, your Bill had, 6 wins for Junior Johnson and 4 wins for Evernham, so about 10 less wins. Not too bad. Not too bad of a total. Plus, he has a title. So anyway, thanks again for watching. Really, really do appreciate it. Sorry I couldn't find the Piquet or the Jerry Hill cards, but that's how it goes sometimes. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we will see you tomorrow.